Welcome to Fanboy and the Hater, a podcast hosted and produced by Mike Hall
and Jim Harris, where we discuss the best
and worst
in movies,
TV,
and pop culture. Edited by Jim Harris.
And music by Mike Hall.
Welcome to a very special episode of the Fanboy and the Hater. It has been almost exactly 1 year since we started the podcast.
Happy birthday!
Yay! Woo!
I'm not doing that.
No. We are recording this 2 days before the actual day of 1 year since we started the podcast.
Well, 1 year since the first episode went live.
That's true. We have been doing the podcast working on it at least for a few months prior to that. But yes, The first episode went live September 15th, 2019.
I can't believe it's been a year. It seems like so much longer than that.
It does. In that time, we have put out 33 episodes to the point that we're recording today. So this will most likely be episode 34, I'm imagining.
Yeah, that's and very inconsistent. I kind of brought up and made a list of the episodes and when we put them out and how many downloads we've gotten for each one. And there's some months where we put out 5 episodes and some where we put out none or one. It's been very sporadic, and I imagine it's probably going to continue to be sporadic. So, I mean, it's just been a tough year altogether. I mean, really, not long after we started, shit hit the fan. And
it was not our fault.
Yeah, it was not our fault at all, I hope. But yeah, it's been an interesting year. Luckily, we'd already worked on trying to figure out how to record remotely.
Yes.
Because of winter. So we already had that down, figured out for when COVID hit. And then now we're just kind of at the point of, we'll just stay far enough apart. Where we're recording, it's pretty versatile. We can stay pretty far apart if we want to. What do you think over the last year? How have we evolved? Let's talk about that. I mean, initially, when we first started the podcast, each episode was going to be me versus you. We're going to fight about a movie because it was based off the conversations that we always had about movies and how I was always like, oh, it was great. And you're always like, it was stupid. Everything was terrible. Nothing is good in the world. And
true story.
I guess it hasn't really changed that much except for that. I mean, initially we weren't really going to do current movies because we wanted to be able to digest the movie a little bit and really think about it more. But then it got to the point of you just don't want to watch movies you didn't like to be able to do the podcast. So it changed to we did some new release stuff. Then we just started focusing on stuff that you do like, which then completely changed the dynamic of Fanboy and Hater to, hey, let's just talk about random shit.
I think we started off trying to make it very adversarial and pick things that would be easy for us to do because it is still easy for us to pick things that we're on opposite sides of.
Right.
But yeah, it soon got to, well, what should we do then? And if it was something that, like you said, we've tried to stay away from things that were new releases. We've only done a few episodes of things that were actually in the theater. Star Wars, Harley Quinn,
Joker.
And
really, Harley Quinn and Joker, those ones in particular, I regret doing those the way we did them right away like that because a couple months later, after I had time to digest things and think about things from different perspectives, my opinion changed a little bit. Not dramatically, but enough that I had more things that I would have wanted to say. Partially in defense of the movies and partially against the movies as well. So that's, for me at least, why I continue to not want to do new releases until I've had a chance to watch them a couple times at least and really think about it.
Well, we've had that issue come up even just regardless of what we chose. The whole idea of how much prep do we need to do beforehand, and regardless of how much prep we did or didn't do, we always end up after the recording is over saying, like an hour later, saying, damn it, I should have said this or I should have said that.
Yeah.
So how much has prep helped or hurt us? Some of our episodes have been a bit more, not completely spontaneous, but a little bit definitely less planned.
I guess it depends on what it's about. The ones that were less planned were, at least from my side, like the Thor episode. I had zero prep going into that. You prepped a little bit for that.
I did some internet research, yeah.
But I had zero preparation going into that, which if you listen to that episode, it may surprise you because it sounded like I did some research.
Well, because you knew it.
All of that was just off the top of my head.
Right.
And kind of same, actually, the Batman episode, same thing.
Right.
Just off the top of my head, just because I just liked those characters so much. I knew that. But all the movies and stuff, I at least had to rewatch again. And I really think it affected it. I kind of regret not prepping more in some of those. Because when we're recording them, I felt like it was... there was no guiding light. I mean, there wasn't going anywhere, and we had to keep trying to pull it back and try to figure out where to go with it while we're recording it versus having the plan and having the preparation there. So I think going forward from here, I want to prep a little bit more, which may mean we do less episodes so we have more time to prep.
Yeah, we've tried various types of outlines and various approaches, and I don't think we've ever really landed on one that we've used all the time.
No,
and we can't really seem to come up with... I mean, there have been times I know that you've remarked that sometimes you feel that some of the episodes sounded over-prepped.
Yeah, there were some that way, where we're almost sound like we're reading off a script because we had prepared so much, which actually I think kind of comes from, I mean, you're a writer. Mm-hmm. So it's very easy for you to script that stuff, which kind of comes across, even when you're not scripted, you still sound scripted because you formulate it in your head as if you're writing something. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's an issue that I kind of have sometimes is you start going on your rant of what you had prepared in your head, and I'm like, I have something to say to that. Oh, he's not done. Oh, I have something to say. Oh, yeah, he's still... And then by the time you get to the end of your whole thing, I was like, well, that was the episode, I guess. I can't really go back and say the other stuff.
Or I've seen the look on your face of, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say.
So then you got to scramble to try to keep going because I have nothing to say at that point.
Yes, exactly. You had something to say. I wouldn't shut up. And then by the time I shut up, you were like, fuck it. I don't know what it was that I was going to say.
And I'm sure frustrating for you is you'll go on this like really intelligent rant. You're talking about something really in depth that you've really put a lot of thought into. And then I come in with a fart joke or something. And you're like, what the hell, man?
That seems to have also happened a lot, too. There's been a different level of seriousness that, like, I don't know if there have been a few times we've been on the same page, but there have been plenty of episodes where one of us was taking either the recording more seriously or the thing that we were watching more seriously. So has been, but not that that's been a bad thing, but it's been definitely, I don't know, maybe that makes it sound more dynamic or something like that. But when you say you want to do more prep, how regimented are you thinking here?
I think my favorite episodes that we've done that I think was, it went fairly smooth, but didn't go overly long. I think one of the issues too with over prepping was they were going way longer.
Yeah.
And which I don't mind so much, but I know there's a lot of people that don't like them being quite that long. So I kind of liked what we were doing of, there was a good, I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes, I think, where like each of us were picking 3 things that we really wanted to talk about. And then we just kind of go back and forth. Mm-hmm. And I really like that format. I thought that worked really well. I think I want to go back to that. I kind of want to go in between. I don't want to script out what I want to say, but I want to get some bullet points of things that I want to make sure that I'm covering.
And how much do you think of a prep has to be two-way? Like, do I need to see your notes? Do you need to see my notes? Or are we just doing our prep on our own?
I think we need to know what each other want to talk about.
Okay.
But I don't think we need to see each other's notes. Okay. Because I think what makes this podcast good, and I've heard it from a lot of people, actually some feedback from people that I know that have listened, is one of the things that makes this podcast fun is our dynamic talking to each other. And if we overscript and we know what each other are going to say, it comes rehearsed instead of a conversation. And I want to keep it a conversation.
A prepared conversation.
Somewhat prepared.
No, that actually does help. We haven't had a great deal of success with that in some of the episodes that we've done. But, well, I guess let's come back around to that. It's like, let's do both ends of the spectrum. What's some of your favorite episodes? Not necessarily the ones that you thought came out the best, but the ones that you really enjoyed, maybe you enjoyed doing, or maybe both that you thought were our best.
Really, there's only a couple that I didn't really enjoy.
Oh, let's start there then, because I'm the hater. Get your hater on, Mike.
Honestly, actually, It was a lot of fun to do, but I really didn't like the Spaceballs episode.
Okay.
Because I thought it was difficult to do, and I thought it came out jumbled and messy.
Funnier to us recording it than people listening to it.
And when I go back and listen to it, I was like, it's still kind of funny to me, but if I were a listener, I would have hated that episode.
Now, we followed a somewhat similar plan with Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Did you think that came out the same way?
Well, I don't know if you remember, but after that one came out, I said to you, we're never doing another episode that way. Which, again, I think it depends on the person. I think some people would really enjoy that, but I don't like the outcome of that. And I don't want to sit here and say I'm an artiste, because I'm really not. I've got zero talent. But just in the creative aspect of things, I want to be happy with how it turns out. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't really all that happy with the way those turns out, which happens.
Oh, okay. They were fun and easy to do.
Yeah. They were real easy to do.
Yes. And it was enjoyable. Spaceballs was enjoyable because we had our guest host, Reese joined us.
Yeah.
So we've done 2 episodes with 3 people, and they both come out. Yeah. I enjoyed both of them, but they are episodes that when I listen to them, I also think the same thing of, it's funny to me because it's making me reminding me how funny it was and enjoyable it was to record.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that really made much sense to people listening.
I want to do that more, I think. I want to bring more guests on, whether it's 1-on-1 or 3 or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. We just got to be careful about talking over each other.
Yes.
That was difficult to keep control over. Especially, you and I, we're both pretty calm about this, but when you bring somebody in that's not used to using a microphone and is kind of nervous, it's hard to rein that in and find a balance. And I think that's where you and I have a good dynamic on that, is both of us have used microphones and we're used to talking to people enough that it works.
I don't use them correctly, but I am used to using them.
Yes, you never use them correctly.
Mike is our tech guy, which has been pointed out probably many times on the episode. So we're using his equipment to record almost all the time, unless we're doing a remote recording. So you want to explain some of our tech gear?
All right. So I guess my background is more in music. I've got a very good friend that actually owns a recording studio, and I actually lived with him as he started building it up and getting the equipment. And so like at band practice, he would actually set up all the sound equipment, and I would run the soundboard for him to make sure that the sound levels were good for everybody's headphones and everything. And, somebody needed a little bit more or something, I would make those adjustments and everything. So I got used to using a soundboard that way, but that was with people that actually knew how to use microphones and knew how to set things up. Whereas your experience with a microphone is more just talking to a microphone when you're doing like online chat type stuff, right? Like online learning.
I have done other podcasts.
I guess other podcasts. But did you use a soundboard or anything for that?
No.
Yeah.
Nope. Just a Yeti microphone. So a USB mic, and you get what you get. It picks up a lot of background static.
Yeah.
And basically the only type of soundboard-ish type adjustments is what is provided by Audacity.
Right. So, most of the time my sound levels are mostly pretty set standard. Unless I start getting tired, then I start trailing off and I get quieter. Mm-hmm. Whereas you tend to lean into the microphone to scream, and then you lean backwards to talk quietly, and your fluctuation of the volume of your voice just dramatically wavers throughout a sentence. So
it does.
It's very hard to sound edit. So,
it is. But in fairness, that is also the way I speak.
That's true.
I am not a level talker. I go way up and down. Yeah, but the part that you said that does make no fucking sense. My leaning in to yell, leaning back to speak softly makes no sense.
Right.
But the fluctuation of my voice, that's unfortunately the way I speak.
Well, and that kind of goes into also, I guess, editing. At the beginning it says edited by you, mm-hmm. which hasn't always been the case. We've actually kind of gone back and forth because we're both getting frustrated mm-hmm. with it. So I've edited some, you've edited some. In full disclosure, a lot of my frustration comes to the clips. I think some of the clips end up too long. I like short little clips, but you like to dive deep and do full clips and trailers and stuff, which drives me nuts, but that's your creativity and what you want to do, and I don't really want to stifle that as well. So basically what we've kind of come down to is whose episode is it? Mm-hmm. That person's going to do the editing, and then we figure it out. And I know When I'm going through and you just kind of go through for sound levels and just kind of normalize and try to get it somewhat even as a whole.
Right.
Whereas I'm going through and I'm trying to brighten up and bring down all the peaks and valleys manually before I do that. So to try to keep it as level as possible. So then when you're in mid-sentence changing, if you know anything about sound waves and the way that works out, it's very hard to clip out a section and make it sound natural.
Yes. My very overly simplistic approach to editing has been once a listener sets the volume knob where they want it to be, I don't want them to have to touch the volume knob again.
Same goal.
But I'm not, but like you said, I'm doing that for like the overall file. So there are still going to be some parts that'll be softer than others and some parts that'll be louder than others, but overall it's pretty much level.
So
I basically just use the functions on Audacity to just modify the entire thing all at once.
Yeah.
But you go through.
See, I do that. I go through and I take out all the peaks and valleys manually to try to get it close to level, and then I do the whole thing like you do.
Okay.
Which I don't know how much that helps or hurts, but I think it helps most of the time. But I might be spending way too much time. Let me ask this: when you're editing an episode, how long does it take?
It varies. It's definitely gone down. At the beginning, I was over editing and trying to make it sound better, and I was also doing a lot more clips and stuff like that. It's gone down substantially, but I don't know if I've paid as much attention to it, but probably 3 to 4 times the length of the recording.
That's about the same. Yeah, about the same for me.
So we're talking. We came off a little bit of a tangent. So almost all of our recordings that are done in person at Mike's house, we're actually using. Now, what is that? Should that a soundboard?
Yep, it's a soundboard.
Okay.
So then when we're doing remotely, I'm still on the soundboard, but you're just on a USB mic.
Correct. So those might be, and I mean, the other thing we've talked about this before too is that I'm older than Mike, so my ears are not as good as Mike. So Mike will listen to something and he'll hear some like audio artifacts or something wrong with the final recording, and I'll be like, I'm like not hearing what you're referring to.
So actually, I think it's the other way. I think it's because my ears are bad.
Oh.
So I crank it up.
Oh, because you're listening to it.
I listen to everything very loud because being a death metal fan and having things cranked up very loud and going to a lot of concerts and stuff, I have damaged hearing.
Okay.
I have a lot of trouble hearing, especially out of one ear. So I tend to crank it up really, really loud. So all the little pops and changes and cuts and stuff. So I can, and that's actually, it's not even just ours. Almost every podcast I listen to, I can catch where they cut stuff out. Because I can hear that little itty bitty little pop or something that's there. And so there's a lot of sound quality things in the way that you're doing the peak and valley thing, leveling that out as a whole. Because there's so much variance, some of that sound quality goes down. And so I get very picky about that.
I think this happened more early on in the early episodes I edited. I was inserting silence to start, like when when we were talking too fast to like trying to slow us down a little bit, or to shrink a dead spot where for 2 minutes we were just mumbling because we were trying to flipping through our notes, and I cut that and then I replaced it with an artificial clip of silence, and that's when you were like, "Oh, what's happening?"
Oh yeah, that drives me nuts.
I can't hear that. When I play it back, it's like I don't hear anything, but that was driving you nuts.
Well, that's actually the issue. Is a lot of people don't realize that there's always kind of an ambient background noise with the microphones, and when there's nothing, it's an obvious nothing. So, like if you're listening, there's a gap and there's some sort of silence. In most cases, you know that it's just a gap. But when it clips out and there's silence, you just instinctively think, okay, something's wrong. Why did it stop playing? Because you don't hear that little background fuzz.
Yeah, because now what I've been doing in the later editing is I take a part of our recording that sounds silent, and I copy that.
Yeah.
And then I use that to insert. So I'm copying, I guess, ambient background noise.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's why it doesn't sound as choppy to you. Although, again, I've never heard it
with
my ears, but...
Yeah. I guess for me, one of the biggest things, the challenges that I run into is now we've finally figured out how to separate the track so it's not all one, so we can edit individual microphones pretty much.
Yes.
So now, like when you're coughing, I can just silence your microphone for that section.
Yes.
Or if there's mouth noises, you can just silence the one, but you still get the background noise, the ambient noise of the other one.
Right, and since I'm on a separate track, I can also do more to level out my voice while leaving you alone.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't have to, it sounds a little bit better. Although sometimes it goes back to just a lot of other things we've talked about in editing in terms of, is all of the extra work actually
Yeah, is it
worth it?
for our dozen listeners?
Yeah, for our dozen or so regular listeners who we greatly appreciate, whoever you are. But yeah, I mean, sometimes the work that we put into it is like, I think it sounds better, but doesn't. That's also why early on I was doing maybe some of the manual editing you were talking about. I was like, it's like, fuck it. I'm just going to select the whole thing and just do the compression normalization thing in Audacity and go get a cup of coffee and wait for the computer to finish.
So really what I've been doing, what I do, my editing process is I listen to the whole thing. And as I'm going through listening to it the first time, I'm taking out the peaks and the valleys, just kind of trying to level it off for the most part. Mm-hmm. And I'm just listening to it. And then I come back through a second time, and that's when I'm taking out the noises and the gaps and stuff like that that's in there in content editing. Then I listen again for overall volume. Then I adjust the overall volume as I see fit, listen to it one more time to make sure it's good, and then I send it over to you.
Wow. Yeah, that's a much more involved process than I go through.
And you're the editor.
And I'm officially the editor. Well, I mean, some of the earlier episodes, too, I did a lot of what I would call content editing. Like the Batman episode is actually a really good example. Mm-hmm. That recording, the final recording of that episode is in no way the order in which that conversation...
Not even close.
Not even close. So I heavily edited that episode so it sounded like we had an organized discussion about different things and flowed, but it was a free-form, the raw recording was just a free-form conversation that I edited into what turned out to be one of our more popular episodes, but I don't think you actually liked what I did to the Batman episode.
It's been a while since I've listened to it, but yeah, there were a few things I'm like, oh, you took out some stuff that didn't fit in the way you edited it that I really wanted in it. And yeah, I remember listening to, there's been a few episodes where you've done that, where when I go back and listen, I was like, I said something there, and I really like that being there. And either you cut it out or you put it somewhere else. And then when I hear it later, it's like, wait, that was supposed to be over there. That took away the joke and the impact of what I meant. I think that's the thing, too, is...
I've done less of that in the later episodes, but I did a lot of that in the early episodes.
There's a lot of stuff that I throw in that are like subliminal jokes that you don't even realize are jokes, that I know somebody really familiar with the content will know is a joke and will catch it. I like to throw that stuff in there as like Easter eggs, but then sometimes you don't realize I did that, and then you cut it out because it didn't fit, because it didn't sound right to you. That's happened a few times.
That also early on, I was really concerned about how long the episodes were.
There was that too.
So I was cutting stuff for duration, and I guess what we've learned from doing this for a year that we played around intentionally for a while there in the middle of, let's do some short episodes, let's do some long episodes, let's do some solo episodes, just to see if we could. Does it matter? Do we get more or less downloads based on those types of things? And basically that all netted out to be, it told us nothing because we have such a small number of downloads per episode anyway.
Well, but we've also been looking at, okay, what about content? You know, a lot of what we talk about Star Wars and Marvel related stuff, and we try to expand beyond that and do other stuff. Mm-hmm. So we've been looking and trying to figure out, okay, what do people actually want to listen to? Length of the episode, what the episode's about, when we put the episode. There's zero consistency in the kind of feedback or the kind of number of downloads or anything that we're getting. So come on, tell us, guys. Tell us. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you want so we can give you more of that. Yeah,
because I'm a data nerd, but I mean, the numbers are so low, it's statistically insignificant for me to try to extrapolate anything based on the limited data that we have.
Yes, I keep trying to do this, and I'm trying to
come up with some sort of function to figure out the best possible outcome.
Exactly. But it has not been, but we've kind of given up on that. And then some of our other episodes have been both longer, just as is, but also just sometimes have just turned out shorter too. But I haven't been really doing that type of content editing. Like one of my favorite episodes is actually our longest episode that we've ever done, which was The Good Place.
Oh, yeah.
Clocks in at over 2 hours. It's by far our longest episode.
Well, if you really want to count it, really, Rise of Skywalker was our longest episode. So much so you had to cut it into 3 parts. That was like 6 hours, wasn't it?
That's true. There's about 6 hours of raw audio that I broke into a 3-part series. But yes, for one...
yeah, we were keeping it brief.
Yeah, we could have still been talking about Star Wars. And we'll probably go back and talk about it even more, but yes. But I got us off track by talking about tech and microphones and stuff like that. We were starting down the road of...
Favorite episode.
Favorite and least favorite episodes. So you already dinged the two record as we go, watch the movie, record as we go, which we've done twice, and you basically are saying no, never again.
Yeah, I don't really like that. They're fun to do, but yeah, I don't like the final outcome. I don't like the way it flows.
In the category of things you don't like, one of the things that I've done that you tried to do once and then you decided you hated it.
Solo
episode. So I don't mean the episode about Solo, the movie, which we can come back to later. But I've done what I've called Jimmy-sodes.
Yeah.
Almost all of them have been called Jimmy-sodes. I think the very first one I did, I didn't actually call it a Jimmy-sode. But basically me talking for like a half hour about something. Now, in almost all the cases, it's been because it was something that you had never seen and had no interest in
except for one of them.
Except for the Clone Wars Season 7, which Mike was upset about.
Was.
But that's a good example of you tried to actually record a solo episode rebuttal. What went wrong? You said you just...
There's been 2 or 3 times where I've started recording a solo episode or even recorded a whole solo episode, go back and listen to it, just deleted it. So I guess that also goes into personality differences where...
Like, you wouldn't even let me listen to it.
Right. You're a writer and editor. You're used to writing things solo, and you do so in a fashion of information.
Yes.
You're informative.
Yes.
I try to be entertaining.
Yes.
It is very hard to be entertaining solo in a recorded format. Now, if I could set something up and go do stand-up on it or something like that where I've got crowd interaction, but if there's no interaction, it's really hard to be entertaining.
Ah, okay.
And so, in the couple that I did record, I mean, content-wise, it turned out okay, but it wasn't entertaining. At least I didn't think it was entertaining. And I find myself hilarious.
He does, folks.
That's actually going back to editing. Every time I go to edit and I listen to it, I'm laughing hysterically at my own jokes. Like, I'm a genius. That was hilarious.
Comedy gold, people. Yeah, I aim for infotainment in my writing to be informative and entertaining, but I do tend to be more towards the informative stuff. I think one of my first solo episodes, one of our friends actually properly called me out for sounding like I was giving a lecture. And that
might have been me.
No, someone else other than you said the same thing.
I think I said exactly the same thing. But that also goes into that's what you do a lot.
Yes, exactly. Because I have done stuff like that in the past, and I still do teach part of my work. So I have done that type of material. So that is definitely not entertaining. So I've tried to be more casual in some of the other solo episodes I've done. I think they've been a bit more entertaining, but they are still relatively informative.
Yeah. I think it also goes into, so, I mean, your background, I mean, you teach, you lecture. My background in the public speaking is I'm a trainer. And I tend to be a trainer for people that work outdoors with their hands and stuff, whereas you're more training people that are like computer people that are used to focused in on something. I'm used to talking to people that are used to moving around. They're not used to sitting listening to somebody. So I always try to keep it entertaining. I gotta mix jokes and everything into it the way that I do it. And again, trying to do that without an audience, without some sort of feedback, it's difficult. So yeah, I'm gonna keep trying. I'll figure something out eventually. I really want to do my episode on Kevin Smith. on its own. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, because I've tried to. Sometimes it's been more thought-provoking and informative in some of the things I've done. Some of it is just like stuff I wanted to rant about. I usually I've also done a better job of integrating more clips into my solo episodes, like when I did the one on what the actual fuck, the episode about profanity. So that was fun. And then some of the other stuff I've done again. Some of them have been like shows that you didn't see and wouldn't want to watch, not counting Clone Wars.
Not counting Clone Wars. So just, again, peek behind the curtain there. I specifically timed it so that I could finish watching the entire Clone Wars series every season, so that my final day of watching was finishing season 7, so I could be ready to record about Clone Wars with Jim. And then like 2 days later, all of a sudden this Jimmy-sode pops up, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And part of that I'll blame on COVID, because that was during the early days of the shutdown and the quarantines and stuff. And I was just bored too, because I was working from home. And it's just like, I just finished watching it, and it's like, before it falls out of my head, I just want to get it behind a microphone and just talk. And then I just put it out. So,
well, that goes into another issue we tend to have is TV shows. You tend to watch a lot more TV shows, whereas I'm more movies. I do watch some TV shows, but by the time I get to the end of it, I don't remember enough of the beginning to have an in-depth conversation. Mm-hmm. So that's really where we struggle with TV shows on this podcast.
Yeah, because I can do TV shows on my own, but yeah, there are some TV shows that we would rather do together, but it does take a lot more time.
Yeah. So you said what your favorite was.
One of my favorites, yes.
One of your favorites.
What's The Good Place?
Well, least favorite.
Least favorite episode? Probably Solo.
Why's that?
It was our second episode. I mean, it wasn't recorded in that order, but it was the first time we attempted a very regimented, here's the let's come up with an outline and let's go through it. And we did like a scene by scene dissection of the movie. And I really, really didn't like that approach. And then it was just seemed to me like it was a laborious process. Because like, even though, as you pointed out before, when we've done the record and watch things, it's essentially what we're doing. Mm-hmm. But in the solo one, it's like it felt to me like we were literally commenting on like every single scene. And most of the scenes, I was like, I don't care about this scene, but you're forcing me to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, that kind of went back to, that was my initial, what I thought we were wanting to do was go through what was the best and worst parts of the movie. Mm-hmm. And to me, it just makes sense to go scene by scene. Like, and I'm not talking about, okay, this little section of the I was talking like, the first quarter of the movie. Here's kind of briefly what happened. Let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes back to, again, the way that you write and the way that your thought process goes into is you can't think linear like that. You tie things back and forth, so it's hard for you to talk about one section without talking about another section as well. Mm-hmm. And you kept jumping ahead, which was frustrating me, which was also frustrating you. So yeah, it didn't go well. I think we could do it better now that you're a little more relaxed on stuff.
Oh yeah, I think the episode came out okay. I just didn't enjoy doing it. And
what do you feel about the giant space squid?
But I think that's also one of the other things that was a part of that, one of our early arguments about the show, too, on the scene-by-scene approach is like, I think at one point you would argue something along the lines of, if we don't explain what happened in the movie before we talk about a specific scene, then won't people be confused because they won't know what scene we're talking about? Yeah. I don't know if that's the right way.
It's something like that, yeah.
That would be like trying to talk about like Endgame when Black Widow sacrifices herself. I think you can just jump to talking about that scene. You don't have to talk about the first 2 hours of the movie. Endgame is probably a bad example because it's broken up into different narrative blocks anyway. It's a different type of movie. Right. But there have been other movies where it's like, I just want to talk about this scene. And you're like, well, we're going to talk about everything that happened in the movie before that first. It's like, no, why?
Yeah, that's... that was frustrating for both of us.
Do you still think that that's the case? Like, if we were going to try to do the thing you said before to pick 3 things to talk about, do you really still think that one of those has to be some type of overall story explanation?
Yes and no. I still think it's an issue because it depends on the audience member. And I was thinking somebody that maybe watched the movie once 10 years ago, they're going to be completely lost listening to when we're bouncing around. Because we were talking about specific scenes initially in what we were talking, because that was initially what we were talking about, is scenes, not overarching ideas. Or at least I was trying to talk about scenes while you were trying to talk about overarching ideas.
Yes.
And that was an issue. But now I think when we're going through, if we're just talking about, okay, I want to talk about the soundtrack. Well, you don't have to explain what happened in the beginning of it to talk about the soundtrack.
True.
So that's a little bit different.
Unless it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. So you've got your favorite and your least favorite.
Well, one of my favorite. Yeah.
One of your favorites. What other favorites do you have?
Let's do. I picked 1 and 1. So
I picked 2. I picked 2 the bad, and then I guess my favorite couple. Thor and Batman. I kind of put together. They're almost the same episode.
Okay.
The same way. I really enjoyed doing those. I like those a lot.
And that's kind of weird because like the prep for that is completely opposite. Like I had 0 prep on Batman, which is why I ended up editing the crap out of that episode, because I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I drove Thor by basically asking you a ton of questions.
But actually, that's what you ended up doing with Batman too.
Yeah, well, I rearranged it to make it sound like that's what happened.
But you did actually do that.
I did.
But it just ended up jumbled. I think the biggest issue with that one was the tangent that we went on about TV versus movies.
Yes.
That was real, and we did that right in the middle. And it messed up the flow.
Yes.
A little bit. But those two, I think, I just like the deep dives.
Okay.
Into that, and that's both of those episodes. What they have in common kind of goes along with the Superman episode too, where it was one person interviewing the other one more or less. There was conversation there, but it was kind of an interview. And I've been pushing really, really hard this entire time that I want to do that to you on Star Trek, because you're such a big Star Trek fan. I'm interested in Star Trek, but I just don't understand why it's entertaining. And I've tried to watch it a few times, and I just can't. So I've been I want to interview you about it and maybe try to hash that out, but you just won't do it.
Well, sometimes that just seems like it's so
big.
I mean, there are multiple series, there are multiple movies. This is so large. It's like you said the same thing about Doctor Who. It's like this is so enormous. I don't know how I would do justice to
that's
the topic.
My job.
Okay.
Is to ask you the questions to get there.
What if you ask crappy questions?
Then we don't put the episode out.
Because that's actually one of the things you actually said that you initially, I think you said you didn't like the Thor episode because you said that it sounded like all we did was explain what happened in the movies.
Yeah.
But I asked a bunch of comic book questions too.
That's one that I wasn't as happy with the outcome, but I really enjoyed doing it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So I guess there's a distinction too, is favorite to work on versus favorite how they came out.
Okay. So Thor was a favorite to work on.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to work on,
But
I think.
you didn't like how it came out.
I'm okay with how it came out. I wasn't super happy. It didn't come out as well as I wanted it to.
Okay.
I think the God of Thunder deserves a little bit more than that. Because I really, again, like you said, we ended up focusing more on the movies versus the character.
Yeah, it was a comparing. I drove it as a comparison and contrast between the comic books and the movies.
Yeah, whereas I was just wanting to talk about the character, not the media. But it is what it is. It turned out well enough. I've gotten compliments from it. I still like the character. I mean, it didn't ruin anything. I think my favorite's probably South Park. The South Park episode.
Except for that annoying edit that Jim did at the end.
Yeah. I wasn't going to go there. I was going to let that one go.
You wanted to end after the line.
Yeah, the Eat Snacky S'mores.
Yes.
Yeah, it was going to be the end.
Which was the end of the actual recording.
Yeah.
But me being the weird editor that I am, I went and grabbed a bunch of the South Park songs because I put them in earlier in like the Brian Politano song and one of the other songs. And then I was just like, I don't know, I really like the Up There song. And for some reason, just like, you know what, this seems like a good play. I'll just put that at the end.
Well, that was actually the first episode that I edited.
Yes, and that's actually it was a co-edited. You actually edited everything, and then when you gave it to me, I was like, you know what, this needs more song.
So
this needs more longer clips.
Up to that point, I had been bitching about the long clips. So that was the episode that I was like, all right, I'm going to clip it out the way that I would like to have the clips. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, this is beautiful. It's almost perfect. Here you go. And then he's like, all right, good. And then he puts it out and he goes, hey, I added a couple things. And I go and listen to you put the whole song at the beginning, which I almost did, but I'm like, no, I don't want that there. It kind of takes away from where I want it to go. I'm like, oh, God damn it, you put that in. Then you put more of the Brian Boitano song in. I'm like, God damn it, what did you do that for? And then I wanted that cold ending, and then you added the song, and I'm like, I mean, it's not bad, but it's just not. I feel like when you have a director makes a movie, and then the studio comes in and makes them cut a bunch of stuff out and change it, that's how it made me feel at that point. I'm like, oh, that's not what I wanted to make.
So we need the Hall cut of the South Park episode?
Yeah, we're going to replace the Hall cut. But at least, but then also, I guess another one of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, because I was also me editing, but you didn't change that one.
I did nothing. I just put the intro and the outro. Actually, most of the other episodes that you edited, that's all I did.
I never did clips on the other ones, though. I just did the content editing. I don't even remember which ones I did. Indiana Jones, I think I did. I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, because I think you put a few clips.
Oh, yeah, I did. That's right.
So I think you did that one. And you definitely did Jay and Silent Bob.
That might be it.
No, I think
that might be those four.
I think there was another...
yeah, there was one more. I don't remember.
Because earlier in the year, we had pushed a few over. I don't remember exactly which ones they were. But yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At this point.
So you really liked the way that South Park, for the most part, came out?
For the most part. But also, I really enjoyed recording that one just because the singing.
Yeah.
The random person, the song is always fun for me because I do that anyway.
True.
All the time.
And I think Reboot was fun to do. I think it also came out well. You did a really good job with the editing on Reboot. The clips were normal clips, not gym clips.
Yeah. And actually, in the editing process, the clips that I put in were things that we had said while we were recording, like, oh yeah, this person said this, and I just put that clip in instead of us saying it in most of the cases.
Which is what I did for The Good Place, except I put in, like, giant clips.
You put in entire scenes.
Yes.
Where I put in a sentence.
Yes, exactly. I violated FCC rules of how long of a clip you could include without stealing
we're going to get
property
shot.
rights. So, yeah, if people are actually listening to our podcast, we might be in trouble.
Yeah. So what about, you got any other favorites or least favorites you want to bring up?
Well, let's talk about everyone's favorite episode.
Teen Titans!
Teen Titans, go! We have been constantly confused by this for almost since it came out.
Because it has over double, other than our first episode. Our first episode has 77 downloads. Teen Titans has 124, which is over double the next highest.
And almost like triple our average number of downloads per episode. And we've been confused about this since the beginning. That, I mean, it was like, I mean, they get a lot of downloads when it actually came out, but like a few months later, it just started to gradually grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and it's by far our most downloaded episode.
Which has made us wonder if that's because it keeps coming up first when people search because of the number of downloads, the popularity of it. Mm-hmm. Or if there's just maybe a lot more interest in Teen Titans than we ever thought there was. I don't know.
Which is also one of the weirdest episodes because we were supposed to do an episode on Zombieland 2.
Yeah.
We went, again, going back to what we said before, we don't typically like to do this, to actually talk about a movie that was in the theaters. We went to see Zombieland 2. We both liked Zombieland 2. Mm-hmm. Walking out of the theater, we're like, I have no idea what I would say other than I liked the movie.
It was funny.
So for some reason, we went to Target because did you already have one of the movies? One of the Teen Titan movies? Or did we buy both of them that night?
No. One of them was a streaming.
Well, one of them was on a streaming service.
And the other one had just come out or something like that, and I didn't own it yet, and I wanted to go buy it because giant nerd that I am, I own pretty much every animated superhero movie over the last 2 decades. So I just hadn't had that one yet, so I went and bought it. We watched it.
Well, yeah, that was the weird thing. It's like I had watched one that was on the streaming service earlier in the week.
Which was Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Right.
And you loved that one.
I loved that one.
And I kept trying to tell you about the original Teen Titans, and I kept trying to tell you about Young Justice.
Yes.
And so that movie was Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go or something like that.
Yep.
And yeah, we watched that together, and you're like, holy shit, no wonder you like that one. So we're like, hey, let's just talk about that.
But then that was a Friday night, and I was like, let me come up with a plan. And then the next day we came back Saturday night and recorded it. So during the day that Saturday, I came up with sort of like an outline of, this is what we're going to talk about. And for some reason, I was really excited about it.
You were. And I was like, okay.
So we recorded that. Basically, it was somewhat of a long episode because we talked about 2 different movies in one episode. Yeah. And I put a ton of clips into it.
Yes, you did.
Including the entire Animaniacs song.
Kids these days.
So yeah, Mike, that was one of the, I don't think it was the first episode, but it was definitely one of the episodes that was like, dude, there's way too many clips and they're way too long. What are you doing?
Yep.
But
that one we had to have an intervention after.
Yes. But for some reason, again, that we still don't understand, it's our most popular episode.
So that's why there's so many downloads, is actually the Warner Brothers lawyers.
Should we sue these people? It seems like we should sue these people. But I did enjoy that episode. I did enjoy those 2 movies, because part of also what we had talked about in that episode was that animation is not just for kids.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what we began and ended the episode with. So that was also conceptual and a good discussion, as well as being a talking in probably more detail than people wanted to hear us talk about the 2 Teen Titans movies.
Yeah. I think that also goes into maybe you can tell the difference. There's some episodes where it just seems like a labor, where we're just getting through it just to get through it, because only one of us is really interested in it or something like that. But that was one where we're just having fun with it. Yeah. And I think it shows throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, that was definitely a much more lighthearted and much more, again, an unplanned episode. It wasn't what we were supposed to do that weekend, and I think it really came out well. The other, I guess, one of my favorite episodes, which is, I guess, a cheat, is our trilogy. I think we actually did, I'm proud of what we did with Rise of Skywalker. I think we did a really good job with what turned into 3 episodes.
I do want to point out that in the Speculation of Skywalker episode, where we're talking about, who's Rey, and I said she's a Kenobi.
Yes.
And I was certain she was going to be a Kenobi. And then the movie came out and she was not a Kenobi. And it just this week came out that she was originally a Kenobi. And in the making of that first movie, which is everything that we knew up to that point, she was still supposed to be a Kenobi. They changed it last minute during making Rise of Skywalker. So, boom, pencil drop. I'm not dropping my mic. It's expensive. I was right. She was a Kenobi. That's canon now. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
And Mark Hamill came out and said that what happened to Luke Skywalker was total bullshit, which I said in pretty much everything we've ever recorded. But I think we did a really good job with, I moved some stuff. I did a little bit of editing magic there and took what was a really long discussion and broke it into 3 parts and organized it so it had a little bit more flow into the...
You did a good job with that.
So I thought it came out well. And
I agree.
So I was proud of that as one of my favorite episodes.
Number of downloads, though, for some reason we have one more person listen to the second one than listen to the first, and 2 less people listen to the last one. So I don't know what to think about that.
But if you take all of them together collectively, the 3 parts together have a lot of downloads, more than most of our other episodes have had. So that counts for something.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
There's also, I would say, our most contentious, the most negative feedback we got from an episode was Joker.
Yeah.
A lot of people did not like what we had to say about the Joker, which again kind of goes into, I wish I had more I could have had more to say to that. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that just came into we didn't really have a plan for that one either. We just talked about it.
And that was one of the only, or maybe the only time we recorded it the night we saw it.
Yeah.
I don't think we've done that.
No, we went straight from the theater to the microphone.
Right. So it was visceral and raw.
Yeah.
And
we didn't have time to digest, and you went on a few rants. That goes into, again, you went on a few rants that I got lost and I didn't get a chance to respond to some stuff that I wish I would have.
Yeah.
And I think some of those rants, there were areas that you hated more than I did, but the way it came out, it sounded like I hated just as much.
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect I have for that movie. I still absolutely don't like it. But I understand why, I mostly understand why people do like it. I don't agree with them, but I understand.
I refuse to watch it again.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure eventually I'll suck it up and try again, but yeah.
But yeah, that was the one and only time that we went right from the movie theater to recording. Or, I mean, any time, like watching a movie, we've never gone directly to the mic.
But even the negative feedback, like nobody said they didn't like the episode. It was all just, you're wrong.
Yes.
But it was interesting to listen to.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, people thought that we were correct. Yeah, they didn't think it was a bad episode, but it was just that they didn't agree with what we said about it.
Yeah. Figure out what your other favorites are?
I got lost on enjoying the fact that our Star Wars Rise of Skywalker episode should have gotten more attention. And it's not like we haven't done a lot of Star Wars episodes. Right. We have. I've actually enjoyed doing both of my Jimmy-sodes. I mean, it would have been better to get your take on season 7. I mean, we could still come back and do the entire.
Now I don't remember.
Now you don't remember, and this is the thing. It's like I would have a lot more to say about the entire Clone Wars series.
Yeah.
But I just had an immediate. I've been very anti-Disney anyway since the Disney acquisition of Lucasfilm, and I really didn't like season 7 as much as I could have. But when we do get back around to it, I do want to do a Star Wars Rebels episode because that's my favorite. Definitely my favorite Disney version of anything that they've done, but it's also, I just think it's an amazing.
Well, that goes into my my rebuttal episode that I had recorded that I erased on that was basically like, okay, Jim said this, and this is my response to that. And again, that's what nobody would want to listen to that. And that's why I deleted it. But there was so like everything you said, I'm like, but, no! And I wanted to reply. But then I later I went back and started looking at stuff again, and some of the stuff, the reason I liked it so much more than you did is I had actually jumbled up parts that were in like season 6 or season 5 that because I watched them all in order straight through, it was all so fresh I forgot when it happened.
Ah, okay.
So some of the stuff that I'm like, no, you're wrong, because this, I was like, oh wait, no, that was season 5, that wasn't season 7.
I would have liked it more if season 7 actually came out right after season 6.
Yeah.
But the fact that it had such a large gap in time, and in between then other stuff had happened, but it could have been better. Plus my other Star Wars rant that I did about how I basically am anti-Disney and I think Star Wars canon ends after Return of the Jedi. I really enjoyed doing that episode was on my own soapbox. But as a tangent question though, if I didn't release that Jimmy-sode and you had recorded your rebuttal separately, could we have done editing magic?
No, because you lose the conversation.
Okay.
I think.
You lose the conversation, but it still would have...
I mean, you could have.
Yeah. I mean,
but it wouldn't have turned out that well, I don't think.
Okay.
Because then there's no rebuttal, there's no conversation, there's no... I don't know. To me, I always like to try to find common ground and understand each other. And if it's just you stating your piece, me stating my piece, there's no there's no understanding.
All right. Gotcha. They're not... They're not very popular in terms of the number of downloads they received, but I actually enjoyed our 2 general discussion episodes. We did one about critics versus audience, and then we did one about spoilers and rewatchability.
Oh yeah, I like those.
So those were not specifically I mean, we talked about a lot of movies and TV shows in those episodes. But we didn't. It was maybe the only 2 times that we didn't actually talk specifically about something.
Yeah.
And It didn't get a lot of downloads, but I enjoyed doing.
Yeah, and I
those.
thought they turned out well.
Yeah, so those types of like conceptual discussions, I thought I would like to do more of.
I would too. Are you giving up on your favorites?
As I'm flipping through some things, you want to talk about some of your other episodes that you liked or didn't like, or you mentioned Thor and Batman. I mean, other than those are the only 2 episodes of the 33 we've done so far, you've liked.
No. I actually really liked Solo. You hated it, but I really liked it, and not just the format. So initially, again, that was at the very beginning.
Yes.
When we were taking the I'm the fanboy, you're the hater stances, and we were fighting, I got to do the ring announcer voice thing at the beginning of it, which I really missed doing. Yep. We actually had arguments throughout the thing and went back and forth, and I really enjoyed doing that. And it was much more like the conversations we tend to have, but we just kind of got away from doing that.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was, I think, the second thing we ever recorded, because the very first thing that we ever recorded was Shazam.
Yeah, which is funny because we set up for me being the fanboy, you being the hater for the most part, and the first thing that we recorded, it was the other way around.
Well, that was also one of those things that you rewatch things more than me, and the more you watch that movie, the more you hate it.
Which continues. I think I've watched it 2 more times since then, and I've continued to not like it more. I'm sure eventually it'll level off, but yeah, it just doesn't age well to me. There's a lot of room for it, though. I'm really looking forward to Black Adam.
I am too. No other episodes come to mind?
I liked the episode Chorus of Mics, because that was another kind of conceptual. We were just talking about music for the most part. Mm-hmm. I would like to do more episodes about music. I want to do I want to do at least 1 episode, if not more, about video games. It's just getting the right people on to do that with. I mean, you're not really a video game guy, so you're not really the person to talk to about video games. And I mean, I think we exhausted the conversation we can have about music in that one, because again, you're not really much. You like music, but you're not a music guy.
No.
So
you need a different guest host to talk about music.
Well, really, what I'm thinking about doing, I want to try to get maybe 1 or 2 of my musician friends on and talk to them as somebody that loves music to somebody that actually knows how to make it. As anybody that's listened knows, by the theme song, I'm not really that good at making music. I just really want to.
Well, like the stuff we talked about this before too is like I like lyrics, not music.
Yeah.
So I have used some music clips in like one of my solo episodes that was song bits that I like because I like the lyrics and I like the message and it blended in well with the theme of the episode. So I like music thematically in that regard in lyrics, but yeah, music itself, I'm not a very good source for co-hosting material on that.
I will say also, though, it's always been a dream of mine to write and record my own song, at least 1 song, everything just me doing it. And actually that episode kind of gave me the drive to actually go through and make it. I figured out, because I bought an electronic drum set to record that, because I figured out, I always wanted one anyways. And since then, the reason, if you notice that recently the theme song changed again, because I actually went and got better guitar equipment and stuff to be able to record a little bit better, make it sound a little bit more like I want to. Still not quite there, because I just don't have all the stuff that I need, nor do I have the right sound space to record it well. But since then, I've been working on my song. I've got it, for the most part, written. I just got to polish it off and figure out how to record it to actually sound good. So
you don't think that, I know that this comes back around, like I continue to have interest and will probably continue to do Jimmy-sodes. I'll just make sure that I don't do something on a topic that you would prefer for me to wait so that we could do a co-hosted episode about. You don't think there would be any value when you do any type of solo stuff on music? Or talk again, you're going back to you don't think it can be entertaining, it might only be informative?
Yeah, I think it would end up lecture-ish, which is fine when you do it. Mm-hmm. I just don't want to do that.
Ah, okay.
So that's why I've been hesitant. For the most part, that's that and time-wise. But yeah, that's why I've been hesitant on doing solo episodes, just me. I want to be entertaining, informative, but mostly entertaining. And it just ends up sounding lecture-y without somebody else there.
Gotcha. I know at one point we haven't looked at it in a long-ass time, But we were working on putting together some spreadsheets of some potential subjects and topics to talk about and try to come up with.
Yeah, we should revisit that.
We should revisit that in terms of, because I was trying to come up with a way of are there other kinds of episodes that still fit underneath the umbrella of talking about movies, TV, and pop culture, but isn't necessarily specifically about a movie or a TV show. Like, again, the Jimmy Soda I did about profanity was generic. I mean, I referenced some things specifically, but I mean, that was a general discussion topic. Same thing again, like I said, the spoilers, rewatchability, and critics versus audience thing. There are some times where there might be just general, like, questions, like, again, like how female superheroes are portrayed, or, you know,
that could be interesting.
So I mean, obviously we would cite specific movies and TV shows and stuff like that, but coming at it from that angle as opposed to saying, hey, let's talk about Wonder Woman, or let's talk about Captain Marvel. Not that we shouldn't talk about Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, but maybe I don't know if that's an easier
that could work
way to do an episode.
See, that's the thing, is those two that you're referencing, the spoilers, rewatchability, and the critics versus audience, it's not like we initially planned to do those. Those just kept coming up organically.
Yes.
To the point of, you know what, we should just do an episode on that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that'll come up. More like that will come up, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head, other than maybe that one now that you said that. What about you? Do you have any in your mind that you want to do?
Well, I mean, there was stuff like that. The thing that keeps coming into my head every time I watch stuff on, and I don't want to call out Netflix for this because it's not the only streaming service that has this issue. A lot of the stuff that I've been watching recently, it seems like there are movies that should have been TV shows, and there are TV shows that just should have been movies.
Yeah,
that's been bothering me. And again, I've been watching a lot of Netflix lately, where there's been like a TV show that didn't have enough of a story to get stretched out across 10, 13 episodes that just should have made a 2-hour movie about it. And then the opposite, there's been 2-hour movies that had what could have been an interesting story if they turned it into a 10-episode series. So again, more of a generic discussion than talking about, although again, it will bring up those specific examples will be brought into it, but it wouldn't be a very deep dive into.
We'll write that down. Let's do that one. Well, I mean, on the other side of that, actually, I do have kind of a list of movies that I want to do episodes on that we just haven't gotten to yet. Dogma, we promised that we would do. We haven't gotten to that yet. I actually did get a request from somebody after the South Park episode to do Team America World Police, which I am totally down for.
I am too. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I did enjoy it.
Sometime in the next year, I want to force you to watch and do an episode on Cannibal the Musical.
Just to shut you up, I will. I will full on
I will never shut up about that movie.
I will full on hate on that. Even if I like it. You have made me hate it.
And then Fight Club. I really want to do Fight Club.
I like Fight Club. That's a good movie too. So yeah, there's definitely episodes like that I look forward to doing. But sometimes I feel like we put too much pressure on picking something, and just should just do more general discussion type stuff.
We put too much pressure. You're like, what are we? I was like, I don't care. Whatever you want to talk about, let's talk about it, man. Just pick something.
But if I pick something that includes a movie, you're all like, oh, I got to watch the movie. I got to prepare. I got to think about what I want to say.
Yeah. I just need to know what movie to watch.
I know. I think there's some. I mean, this has been more of a free-form discussion, but we knew going in that we were going to talk about the first year of our podcast. But maybe just some, because we've said it numerous times, even before we started doing the podcast, but definitely during the podcast. It's like, hey, we should have been recording this.
Yeah.
We'll just randomly have a conversation, and it just goes someplace. We're like, hey, we should probably have been recording that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like the idea of just like picking a few things that we want to talk about, let each other know so we can at least think about that part, but then just have the discussion about it going forward. I don't want to script it out, but at least have an idea of where to go. So you're not talking like, I want to talk about this, and you go on like a 5-minute rant about it, and I'm like, things, because I hadn't thought about that, so I have nothing to say at this point.
Did you have other questions?
I guess for me, throughout this year, is there anything you learned?
Anything I've learned? I've learned that watching movies and TV shows as a podcaster is different.
Yeah.
for me, I mean, I don't know if that's the same for you or for other people. It's like now, I mean, I'm obviously, since I play the hater on the show in almost every episode, I am a critical person when I watch movies and TV shows. I'm even more so now. Because now I'm looking for things to specifically talk about. Because now, before it was just like, oh, I don't like that. Now it's just like, well, what if we were doing a podcast on this movie? What would I say about this?
Yeah. Yeah, before you just didn't like things. Now you're looking for reasons to not like things. Which you didn't need. I guess for me, kind of similar to that, having talked to you so much about this stuff, in the perspective you bring, which is very different than what I tend to look at, you've actually broadened what I'm looking at when I'm watching the movies. So I'm looking a lot more in depth about storylines and stuff that I never really... Like, as long as the storyline, it followed and I tracked and I understood what happened, that's all I cared about. But now I'm actually looking for a lot of the details of the story that I never really cared about before. So that's changed. I've learned a lot about that.
I've learned to appreciate things that I dismiss too much, because you have a tendency to be more positive, or at least give the artist more credit for what they were trying to do. And you pointed that out numerous times and be like, yeah, you know what? Looking at it from that perspective, that thing I don't like actually isn't as bad as I've been bitching about it.
Which really kind of comes down to you're the writer and I'm the artist.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though I'm not really an artist. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the performer, the actor, the musician. I'm the writer. Yeah. And the critic.
Yeah. Whereas I would even go as far as director for me.
Okay, yeah.
Because I kind of go into that route too, where I look at the bit. So again, like the buddy that I help out doing films every year, which actually that's coming up here in a couple weeks. So I'm not gonna be able to record in a couple weeks, by the way.
Oh yeah.
He's really the director, but a lot of times I end up helping out with a lot of the detail stuff because I can see the big picture that he's going for, and I help him get everything there. I guess I'm used to that part. I've always been the big picture kind of guy.
Yeah, like, I mean, it comes up, I mean, we talk about it all the time, but like with Star Wars, you always have to constantly remind me, this is for kids.
Yeah. They don't care about you.
Exactly.
They care about the general audience. Yeah.
So there have been some things that I haven't liked, but if you take a step back and say, well, if you look at it from how kids would be watching this, then they would see it differently and would appreciate it more. And also, that also makes them make decisions in terms of how they present stuff as well.
Right. And I think, going back to Cannibal the Musical, when you're watching that, you have to have the right mindset, or it's the dumbest thing you've ever seen. But with the right mindset, it's genius. Absolutely genius. Along those same lines, what has surprised you the most?
About the podcast?
Yeah, about doing the podcast. I'll go first.
Okay.
I thought about this the other day. What has really surprised me is the versatility of the word jacked. I'm pretty sure we say that on an average 586 times per episode, give or take. And we never mean it the same way twice.
Yes. We have used the word jack in all of its various permutations numerous times.
Yeah. And I mean, not really surprising to me, but somewhat surprising to me, more so than I would want it to be, is how hung up I seem to be on how pretty movie stars are. Yeah, It's sad. I do appreciate the acting as well, but I've always just really appreciated physical beauty. I don't know.
Wow,
I mean, I'm not definitely not alone on that.
But to say you're like no other person on the planet,
right? But I talk about it more than I should. You're pretty good about internalizing it and not saying it out loud, whereas I'm just like, pretty.
So what was the question?
What surprises you?
What surprised me about it?
What about how difficult it is?
Yeah, I guess that probably counts. It sounded like early on we had said that as soon as it stops being fun, we're going to stop doing it. And in all honesty, there have been, I think, several times that both of us have almost reached that point.
Yeah.
Where it stopped being fun. So yeah, how much work is required to do has been a little bit surprising. I guess the other thing, and this is going to sound bitchy, I never expected to become internet famous, but I'm a little bit surprised / disappointed that we don't get more feedback.
Yeah.
Especially from people we know.
Right. Yeah, I keep looking at it, I'm like, all right, so I know way more than 20, 30 people. How come they're not listening? Because I know that I would listen to theirs.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't like it, I would support them in listening to it. But how few people are listening that we know,
right?
That's kind of bothered me. And, it's really weird because I get a lot of people telling me they listen, but they only listen to like one episode here and there. Mm-hmm. And it's really sporadic with, again, there's no line. I know one of our friends say they listen to almost every episode, but nothing Star Wars because she's not interested in Star Wars.
Right, which makes sense.
Yeah,
or some other movie or TV show she hasn't seen.
Yeah.
Or other friends too have said the same thing. I didn't listen to that one because I didn't watch that yet, or I don't like that genre. So yeah, but that's why it's like if we had gotten, I would have been very open to feedback and responding to requests and stuff like that.
Right.
And if people thought we should do something different. About the only feedback we got early on, and not from, actually even from some people we knew, was that the episodes were too long.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing we got.
And the music's terrible.
Because that guy sucks.
He does.
The editing, awesome. The music, terrible.
Terrible. I'll admit it.
But yeah, that's the only thing we got for feedback is it's just too long.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten, again, like maybe 2 requests for different types of episodes. Like Jay and Silent Bob Reboot was a request. We were going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. But that was a request. Like I said, Team America was a request. And I've had a couple people that are into video games ask, when are you going to do something on video games? Mm-hmm. Which I would like to. I just got to get the right person on.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times where I've had to stop myself from doing more solo episodes. Because the other thing that's happened too over the course of the last year is we've each had different periods of free time.
Yeah.
I used to have a lot more free time, and then we both had started new jobs, so that changed it. And then, of course, the whole pandemic thing fucked everything up too.
Yeah.
So there have been more times where I've been sitting around bored wanting to do solo episodes. That hasn't happened as much recently.
Yeah, my previous job, I worked from home, but I worked more hours.
Right.
So I didn't have the commute time, and I was able to kind of listen and do things on the side a little bit, which helped out. Then I switched jobs where, I mean, it's not much of a time difference work-wise, but now I've got a little bit of a commute. I've got to be gone. I've got just a lot more going on in the back of my head, so it's hard to focus on stuff. So you notice there are episodes where I just seem to not be all there, sometimes just because I'm exhausted, and sometimes just because my mind's elsewhere and I just don't have the mental capacity, which I'm hoping gets better. Well, I'm going to try to get better.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely episodes where we're more enthusiastic than others. And the timings or the number of episodes we've been putting out each month, as you mentioned earlier, has gone down a little bit. But we've also been, I think that's been twofold. One, because of the things that are happening in the world because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. But also because if we had more downloads, maybe I would be more inclined to make more episodes. I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it.
Yeah.
But it's like knowing that we put out an episode and a month later it has 20 downloads doesn't really motivate me to.
5 of those are you?
And 5 of those are me checking to make sure that it's working on all of the different podcast platforms. It makes me less enthusiastic. I mean, it's still, even only getting 20 downloads, that's more people listening that are sitting in this room right now.
Yeah. And that kind of comes back to where we decided we're just going to keep doing it until it's not fun anymore.
Right.
If we get more people listening, then it becomes more fun. If nobody's listening, then we're just having a conversation. At some point, we're just going to be like, well, let's just stop recording it and just have the conversation. Yes, exactly. Either way, we're going to keep having these conversations.
Plus the fact that since I didn't pay attention and left my credit card on file, we paid for another year on Podbean, so I guess we're going to be doing this for at least one more year.
Right. Which we'll see. I think right now we're kind of planning on 1 or 2 episodes a month.
Yeah.
And which I think will probably be good enough. And again, if we get more listeners, maybe we'll be able to devote more time to it. But I guess feedback, man.
Yeah.
If we get more feedback and knowing what to do, if we get feedback on length of episodes, type of episodes, et cetera, that'll help us kind of hone in on target audiences or whatever it is and try to be a little bit better at what we do.
And we realize that it's a crowded space. There are a lot of podcasts out there. And we also acknowledge the fact, too, that we don't do a lot of interaction. We did a lot more social media marketing early on, but we both got busy.
Yeah.
And we haven't really been doing all that much recently. So again, if we're sounding bitchier than we deserve to be, other than general bitchiness that most indie podcasters have about not getting enough downloads or enough listens, hopefully it doesn't come across that way, but yeah.
No, I mean, it's still fun.
Yeah, it's still fun.
I guess also we've talked about it a couple times, and I'm still trying to figure out maybe switching over to YouTube and doing video, which would really cut down on the editing that we have to do because we can't do it necessarily. That might be an option going forward at some point too.
Yeah, maybe if we hadn't accidentally bought another year on Podbean.
Well, we could always take the audio from the YouTube, put it on Podbean.
That's true too.
And then we get more options for people. I don't know. Again, feedback. Let us know.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else? Or did you have any other questions written down in your sheets?
I think we covered everything.
Okay.
That I had. What about you? You got anything else?
I don't think anything else other than just in general. Again, I know as weird as it may sound after we just complained, we are very grateful for anyone who has listened to our podcast.
Yeah.
And again, there have been people who have given us feedback. It's not like we've got no feedback at all. So we do appreciate the people who have listened, the people who have given us feedback, and we hope that you continue to listen and enjoy the show.
What's funny about the feedback is almost every time somebody new listens to an episode or a couple episodes, they always come back with it. They're like, oh, that was funny, which is the absolute best compliment you could ever give me. But then I'm also like, well, that's not really what we were going for. What about the information that was there?
Yes, they found your ideas about Batman hilarious.
Well, I mean, I am pretty funny. I mean, what can I say? Yeah, the end.
The end of the first year.
Yeah. I'm actually really excited for this next year. I think we've smoothed out a lot of the wrinkles.
Yeah.
I think we've got format down a little bit. We've got editing down a little bit more. It's becoming a much more smooth operation. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to see where this next year goes. Thank you for listening to Fanboy and the Hater.
We really appreciate it and would love to hear your feedback.
Give us a rating. Write a review.
Reach out to us on Twitter at Fanboy and Hater.
Email us at thefanboyandthehater@gmail.com.
You can find all of our episodes on our website, fanboyandhater.podbean.com.
That's PODBEAN.
Where you can download the free Podbean mobile app for Android and iOS.
You can also find us on all major podcast platforms, including
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Stitcher, Spotify,
iHeartRadio, and many more.
Once again, thanks for listening to
The Fanboy and the Hater.